Welcome back, guys. It's over the Pylon. Your host Shaq here, but I've been away for a while. I was deployed. Feels good to be home. Today we're going to talk about a few things. Really, majority is the power rankings in the NFL midseason. And then I kind of want to get into a rant about the Rooney Rule. It's been on my heart for a while, so I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. But today I got one of my brothers, one of my friends with me, Chris James. Hey, introduce yourself, Chris.
Yeah, bro. Chris James. On Facebook, follow me, Chris James or James Christopher. Um, just put it like that, man. Really want to get to more of my social media, just hit me up on my Chris James or James Christopher account on Facebook. Just simple as that. Specs Howard alumni, so just put it like that, man. I'm ready to get it.
All right. So today we're gonna tackle basically our power rankings. Basically, we already know KC's number one, right? Like it's nothing they can't do. When I seen that play when they did a quarterback motion, I said, "What? Why? This cannot be legal in the NFL." I was like, "This is not right. Patrick Mahomes cannot be doing this. Andy Reid, stop it right now. This is illegal." And I was so happy Carolina. You know what I mean? Like I don't hate greatness. Let me get that. I don't hate greatness. Like I wanted the Warriors to have a dynasty. I want KC to have it. It's just disgusting to me how good Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is. It's not fair to the rest of the league. Like, and they drafted him 10th. You know, like I'm glad the Bears picked Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes because I would hate to see him twice a year. You know what I mean? Like, so let's get it cracking. KC number one. Like I said, I think they're the best team in football. They not having any of that Super Bowl drunkenness. You know, after they win, none of that. You know, I feel like they're gonna win again. I feel like they might three-peat. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like they might three-peat. And then I'm gonna go two. I got the Saints. Let me see how to put it. I feel like the Saints, fully healthy though, has the best player, like overall team dynamic. When they're fully healthy, that's for every team in the league, fully healthy. But when they're fully healthy, I feel like they have the best team. I know Drew Brees is, getting up there in age, but he's doing what he does. Sean Payton is another offensive genius out there. And so them boys, watching that Sunday night game, Chris, Tom Brady, well, they couldn't do anything right Sunday night. It was absolutely horrible to watch them play Sunday night. And the Saints were the better team, and it wasn't even close. And that's why I got them at two. And then I want you to talk about the Steelers at three, being it's been a while since they've been undefeated, right? This is the first time in Steelers history I was reading that they've been 8-0. And so I'm gonna let you talk about why the Steelers can possibly be the third best team in the NFL.
Well, my power rankings is just Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Actually, in my opinion, Pittsburgh number two. So it just, man, like I just want to go back to the old saying, defense win championships. So, like, man, they've been going crazy. Shit, you had the Cowboys almost beat them, but defense locked in and did what they had to do and capitalize. So, my power rankings is Kansas City, Pittsburgh. Who did I have there? Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Baltimore, and Seattle. That's my five right there.
Oof! Even after Seattle got drummed by the Bills,
it's like my five. Like my five is just between like Seattle and Green Bay, but I just feel like Seattle. Man, it just depends, man, because we just seen like at the end, like we just seen like Green Bay get to NFC Championship got dragged, so it just really depends, man. Any given Sunday, so it just and then you
Yeah, I
got that
see it.
extra 7 seed, so
Uh-huh.
I'm just really just focused on like me personally. I'm just focused on like regardless NFL season, I'm really just focused on Matt Patricia's job and just like how the NFC least is going because it's just like I don't even feel like any of those teams should even be in the playoffs, no matter if they win or not. Like I don't even feel like they deserve to
Hmm.
be in the playoffs the way they're all those teams are going. So that's just my
Yeah.
honest opinion.
It's not even
Pittsburgh
like
doing
a
their thing,
good
but
7 wins.
they just gotta do better on offense a little bit. But that defense is carrying them a whole lot. And
Hmm.
Mike Tomlin, like y'all want to say he doing good for a black coach, man? He not doing good for a black coach. He just doing good as a coach in general, man.
Oh yeah,
Not a
that's
losing
what got me
record at
hot.
all in his whole
Oh my,
15-year career.
bro.
Not a losing record. I don't
Oof,
care. Black
oof.
coach, like it's just a coach in general,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
That
that
that's
had
the
me
whole
hot.
track record, man. He did good. He almost made the playoffs last year without his star quarterback. So like, come on
Yes.
now. Mike
Yeah.
Tomlin is a good coach in general. Not for no black coach. He's a good coach in general, man. So
Hmm.
we gotta put some more respect on Mike Tomlin lane, man.
That's
For
why I was
sure.
so upset when like the Rooney Rule and that came out, like the decision, and then they said that. I was like that. I felt like it was just like a slight more Mike Tomlin. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, I just didn't appreciate that. But we're gonna tackle that at the end for sure because I
Okay.
have to get that off my heart.
Okay.
So you had your top. I did have the Ravens at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like the Ravens. I want to see I want to see Lamar come out a little stronger in the first half. They've been playing really good second half ball. I want to see Lamar go back to that MVP and play all 4 quarters like he did last year. I love Lamar for every reason because Lamar is everything. He's like every black kid. You know what I mean? He's not like Kyler Murray. He's not a Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
is like the black kid that grows up in inner city Detroit. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah, I
is
already
that. He
feel
looks
you. Like,
just like any other black
like
person. You know what I
Kyler
mean? Like,
Murray and Patrick Mahomes, like if we going like just Michigan, like it's just like Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes, like a Southfield and
mm-hmm,
Farmington type kid. So
mm-hmm.
it's like Lamar Jackson, like the Detroit kid. So it's just like,
Yeah,
man, get it
I,
off
I
the
seen a
ground.
I seen a meme. They were comparing rappers to football players, and it was like Lamar Jackson is the Kodak Black of the NFL, and it was a good.
Hey
It was a
man,
good.
because he messed with. I see you because they both from the same area, and he really
Hmm.
actually messed with Kodak Black. He got actually ties to Kodak Black, so I see
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. So I was like, I can appreciate that. Like, you know what I mean? I love Lamar for everything he's doing for the like just the culture in general. Uh, it's bigger than him, and I think he realized that last year. That's why I was such a big like pusher for him to play quarterback in the NFL because it was bigger than him. Um, so that's that on the Ravens. At 5, I had the Bills. I had the
I
Buffalo
was gonna
Bills
put
at
the
5.
Bills up there, but I just don't. It's just like, man, I'm feeling because they going crazy and they like 6-2,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like it's just still for me. It's just like I got to see it to believe it. Even though
I,
they
I
doing
I
their thing,
knew,
I just still got to see it to believe it.
yeah,
And then I
I
forget.
knew it
I
was
be
coming
forgetting they
though.
got Stephon Diggs on their team too, man. That's the thing. I be
So
forgetting they
they
got
got
Stephon
sauce now.
Diggs.
Yeah, they have sauce now. They didn't. That's what they were missing last year. They didn't have no sauce on the offensive side of the
Yep,
ball,
yep, yep,
and
yep.
Stephon Diggs adds that to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I
No
think
matter if
that's
it's a
really
running back or a
important.
wide receiver, they just missed. They was missing that
They was missing
swagger.
that. I thought Singletary could have been that, but then Singletary is just like a football player. He just want to play ball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now that when they got Diggs, I was like, that's what he's gonna do. That's gonna give Josh Allen that confidence to make them throws that he was like, I shouldn't make it. I'm gonna go throw that 50-50 ball now because I know he can go get it because he wants to go get it. You know what I mean? You need some receivers in your locker room. And I think that was very important for Josh Allen's development because I was watching that Seattle game and he was just throwing darts. Like,
Bruh.
and he has a huge arm. Like, he reminds me of so much of what Matthew Stafford was when he came to the league, first came to the league, with that big arm. Um, and so now I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is what Matthew, if they would have built the organization like the Bills did for Matthew Stafford that early in his career, Matthew Stafford could have had that same success, I believe. And so now I'm looking at it and I'm just looking at Josh Allen go crazy. I'm just like, and I love to see it, especially for Stephon Diggs because he wanted out of Minnesota bad. He really wanted out of Minnesota, and so it's good to see that. I'm gonna move on to 6. I have the Packers. It's so bad that I just hate the NFC North right now because the Packers have ruled the NFC North forever. And it's literally they give everybody like 1 year. Okay, you can have it this year, or you can have, but next year we're gonna have it for 5. You know what I mean? And so I hate to see the Packers up there, but man, they play good offensive football. Aaron Rodgers, oh my, one of the prettiest, like he throws the prettiest ball I've ever seen in my life. Um, and so he's always gonna do what he does. The Packers are always in contention as long as Aaron Rodgers is on the field. Um, and then at 7 and 8, I really had a tie. I had the Bucks at 7 and the Seahawks at 8. Both got outplayed this past Sunday pretty bad. The Seahawks are historically bad right now on the defensive side of the ball, which I never thought I would say under Pete Carroll. But man, and then I'm gonna let you tackle the Bucks though. You tell me what you think, how you felt about that Bucks outing Sunday night. I don't think you can, be Chris. I think we have some technical difficulties. Can you hear me now? Mm-mm. Okay, so I guess I'll go on. We'll have to probably loop over that. So the Bucks was it was a bad outing for the Bucks, but I really feel bad for Carolina next week because Tom Brady usually goes on to destroy uh, the team after he gets beat pretty bad. And I don't think that's a good look for Carolina. I feel like Carolina is about to get beat pretty bad this weekend, but the Bucks look so bad. They couldn't run the ball, they couldn't throw the ball. The defense couldn't make a stop. Um, it was really just all bad. And so I I had the Bucks as the top 4 team last week when I started this list, and then after Sunday night, I said I gotta get the Bucks up out of there, and I put them at 7. And then same for the Seahawks. I had the Seahawks at 5, um, and I moved them down to 8 just because that defense is playing really bad right now. At 9, I have the Titans. And I also wrote this before last night's game. Their loss to the Colts. Um, the Titans are very dependent on running the ball, right? And so when they don't run the ball well, you see what happens. I think Ryan Tannehill takes him to like week 13 to get rolling. And so with that being said, Derrick Henry has to win the first 12 games of the season. And then the playoffs as well, as it looks like. So um, the Titans at 9, I think it's fair right now. I think next week after this loss Thursday night, I'm gonna move them down to about 14ish. But I feel like the Titans are still contenders to a certain degree because that AFC South division, um, it's you know what I mean. It's just the Colts and them. So at 10, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I want to take a second and talk about Kyler Murray um, as the most dynamic player in football right now, possibly or arguably. Um, he's on pace to throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000 plus as well. I don't think people understand how insane that is. Lamar did, I think it was 3,100 passing and 1,200 running last year. So just to bump that number up, I think it's Kyler Murray is about to do something historically great and might solidify himself as the best team in the NFC West. With that, so that'll be huge for the Cardinals. At 11, I have the Raiders. The Raiders are playing great football. And last week, it came down to the last play, and the defense got them to win. It wasn't Derek Carr, it wasn't the offense. It was the defense that won them that game with on the last drive. And so I think that's huge for the Raiders' confidence. And I also think that they have two important games coming up, which is the Broncos and Chiefs. The Broncos, I feel like they'll win, and then I think they beat the Chiefs already this year. So if they beat them again, they can actually, lock up the division. Um, I think that'll be really important for the Raiders to win that one. At 12, I have the Colts, and like I said, they'll probably get moved up after last night. But I really believe the only thing holding the Colts back from really being like a top 7 team is Philip Rivers. But then again, they do just seem to win. They play great defense. I mean, I watched that first half. I was able to watch that first half last week against the Ravens. And what they did to Lamar Jackson was like what you like game plan, and it worked completely. Lamar figured it out in the second half, good coaching adjustments in the second half. But man, they played it great that first half, and so I really feel like the Colts can, if they can hit on a quarterback next year, which I feel like they're one of the people that will jump up and trade a lot to go up, and get a quarterback this next draft. I feel like they're a team that can do something. Um, at 13, I have the Dolphins. Tua time. It's good to see Tua out there healthy. It was that injury at Alabama was scary. So to see him come back and see him doing what he's doing now, is huge. And then I also got Coach Flores as my vote for Coach of the Year right now. So uh, I think that's huge. I think that's huge. For what Coach Flores is doing down there in Miami, I think is really important. Um, they were like 3 years ago, they were like one of the worst teams in the league, like bottom 3 teams. And now he has them playing ball like, you know what I mean? Like they just beat the Cardinals in a shootout. I think that was super important. And I think he might win Coach of the Year if they can make the playoffs this year, which is very possible in the AFC. Um, at 14, I have the LA Rams. Um, they're playing good football, but in the NFC West, you have to play great football. Um, because of just it's always two Super Bowl contenders in that division. It seems like for like the last 2 years at least. And so to make it out that division, you have to play great football. And then they have a pretty tough schedule coming up over the next 2 weeks with the Seahawks and Bucks. So this will be that time to show to take that place, and to if they want that number one spot in the division, you got to beat the Seahawks and you got to beat Arizona. And I think these are two, and then the outside game in the Bucks. Those are important games, and they got to win them. And then 15, I had the Browns. I think out of the top 15 teams, they have the easiest schedule left. Um, the Browns, they in the next couple of weeks they have the Jags, the Texans, and the Eagles. Um, I was like, what? And so I think it's a good chance come December they might be able to outplay some of those wild card spots and might be able to lock themselves in for a wild card spot. I saw a stat for the Browns that kind of was like, okay, either they score a lot or not at all. The Browns are 5-3, and when they score 30 points or more, they win. And when they lost, they scored less than 7 points. Um, I think that's important. So they have to learn how to get the ball rolling and score on a lot of possessions. Um, I would like to see. It's bittersweet to see the Browns kind of take off and the line because it's always been the Lions and Browns is the worst franchises in the NFL. So when the Browns are doing good, you kind of want the Lions to do good because as a Lions fan, because you like, but at the same time they give you hope that you can come out the gutter, which we decided to live in forever. 16, I have the Vikings. I know they're 3-5, but I feel like they just found their groove 2 weeks ago. They look like a completely different football team over the past 2 weeks. Um, like I said, I'm a Lions fan, so I watched that game and I saw Dalvin Cook in my nightmares, I swear. But in reality, that was my reality. Dalvin Cook was really doing that in real life. It looked like he was playing a game of Madden on rookie. And I just had to sit there and watch the Lions. And then, you can have 11 people on the field, and the Lions decided, to only have 10 against one of the best running backs in the league, maybe the best running back in the league this year. Um, and so and then if they can get behind Dalvin Cook and just ride him to the playoffs, I think it's a chance that they can make some noise in the playoffs. Because they'll be one of the teams that just run the ball down your throats, keep the time of possession their way, et cetera, et cetera. And it's hard to stop stuff like that. At 17, I have the Bears. I really don't know what to say about the Bears. It's really the same thing I said when they were 5-1. How? Because they're not a good football team, really, to me. And then their record finally caught up to what they were, which is 5-4 now. And those last 4 games have been terrible. Like they played terrible ball, and it's finally shown. They are who we think they are, basically type of thing. And so with the Bears, I really I really don't see them winning more than 7 games at this point, maybe 8. But that football team just, I think Matt Nagy's on the way. I think he might be fired. I think that's like a dark horse to get fired this year is Matt Nagy. And so with that being said, it'll open up that'll open up the door back to the Vikings with the Bears falling off in the middle of the season. 18, I have the Falcons. The Falcons have won the last 3 out of the 4 games. They had some major meltdowns at the beginning of the season, but right now Matt Ryan is playing like really good football. People were saying, well, if they didn't have those meltdowns, they would be, in they'd be that division. You can argue is the best division of football if they didn't have those meltdowns, because they would be, having, what I mean. They have 5-6 wins now, and so I think that was needed. Those meltdowns are needed because I think Quinn, it was time for them to separate, and I kind of like Raheem at Coach Raheem at the as the HC. So with that being said, I think the Falcons, yeah, I think it's too late because the NFC South is just such a tough division. But I feel like they might be able to build upon this, and for whether they hire Coach Morris or they hire outside coach, they win these games. That makes their job very very attractive to another head coach, and so that's why I put the Falcons at 18. And 19, I have the Chargers. I really feel bad for the Chargers because it seems like all their games are coming down to the wire. Um, but they have to be happy they struck gold with Herbert. Like Herbert is like yes, he got drafted what, six, I believe. Um, but at the same time with Herbert, I'm thinking like you got to be happy you found your franchise. You can never like, yeah, I know you only won 2 games this season, but Herbert is your franchise quarterback going forward, and that's a plus. Like, because it's people that look for like that's going to be looking for a franchise quarterback for the rest. It feels like forever. And so you found yours, and that's a plus. Even in this dark season, you only have 2 wins so far. Um, at 20, I have the 49ers. Um, when you're good, you're good, right? But right now, it's just not their time. Injuries have really depleted them. Um, Nothing has really went right for the 49ers. I feel like if the 49ers come back this season, well, next season, I should say, they come back next season, they're healthy. I feel like the 49ers can be that team that we saw last year, um, because they play great defense. They run the ball. I feel like Jimmy G's time is up there. Like, that's just something I feel. Um, I am on the free Stafford train in Detroit. And so I think the 49ers is a good destination for Stafford if it's free Stafford. Because they want to win now. I feel like Stafford. I was watching that Super Bowl game a couple weeks ago on my way home, and I was looking at those throws, and I was like, man, Stafford would have made them throws. Even when he's bad, like even when Stafford has bad days, he's making those throws. And that was the difference in the 49ers winning is Jimmy G making those throws that a top 15 quarterback usually can make day in, day out. And so, like I said, going back to it, I'm on the free Stafford train. Uh, Trade Stafford.
How long did it take you to get on the Stafford train though? Because you
Huh,
was one of the people that wasn't on the Stafford train.
I've as a outside looking in, you gotta realize like franchise quarterbacks is you just don't get. Like you don't get them. Like
So, do you think the Lions would be better off with Tua or Herbert, or you think they'd be in the same position as Stafford? Because like I
yeah,
heard a lot
yes,
of
with
rumblings too, like
yeah.
we messed up.
No, I don't believe we. I feel like we should have
Tua
took
and
a step
Herbert
back.
would make us even better, or just put us
Hmm.
in a brighter future. I don't know because it's
Um,
just like we tried to build around Stafford. If
we
we put
did.
Tua and Herbert, I feel like we put Tua and Herbert in the same position. It's gonna kind of be like the same thing, man. I don't know,
Uh,
but it's like
it's time to move on. You know me. I want to move on from Matt Patricia and Quinn
yeah, I feel like
more than I want to
yeah,
breathe.
I
Like
told you at this point, I've been the Stafford lifer, man. So
yes, you have. You were.
I just want, I told you at this point, I want them to do how they did Justin Verlander, put him in a contender spot because
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think the 49ers is that place. I feel when the 49ers are healthy, they were a quarterback away from winning that Super Bowl. Jimmy G to me lost them that Super Bowl. There was some deep passes. It was some deep passes that he, as a Super Bowl quarterback, he should have hit, and he just could not hit them. The Saints exposed that the week prior. Um, And then, what was that? I think that was like one of the last regular season games they played, or maybe that first playoff game. I can't quite remember. But the Saints exposed who Jimmy G was, like, and then everybody else just took it off from there. And so I am really like, if Stafford is, I don't want Stafford to get traded to a bad team at all. I want him to be traded to a Super Bowl contender. And I believe the 49ers is just a quarterback away.
What about Dallas and Matthew Stafford?
I think he would like that. But Matt, I'm secretly a Dak fan. Like, I want to see Dak do great things just because he was never put in a position to do great things. So
no question. I'm sorry because I just because this Zoom stuff. So it's technical difficulty just overall. So we just trying to get through it, trying to be professional. But let me ask you one more question. Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson around this time, like what have you done for me too? I see Clark talking about something he'd take Kyler Murray. And I'm just like, man, I was just like, man, I feel I can understand where you're coming from, but me, I can't trust nobody that can't even beat Detroit Lions. Kyler Murray ain't beating Lions.
Listen, we've only played good.
He lost them and then he tied with him.
I'm gonna be honest, we only played good against rushing quarterbacks this year. Like other than that, Detroit gets shredded if a quarterback stays in the pocket. As soon as the quarterback thinks he's mobile.
He did play good against Patrick Mahomes that last year too. He had that one good scramble. That was one of the games. Mm-hmm. And then that's crazy because the year before we beat the Patriots and then they won the Super Bowl. And then last year we could have beat the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes
came down to that
from ill, and then they end up winning the Super Bowl.
Travis Kelce did that trick play, and I just knew the game was over after that. Like after Travis Kelce did that little flip out to catch, I said, "Yeah, this game over."
Like I just watched his Auto Smoke. I was listening to his Auto Smoke interview last night too, a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that as well too.
Yeah, Stafford to the 49ers. I believe that's where he should be free. If we're gonna free him, trade him to the Niners. I know the Niners they would love that. I think the Niners will overpay us in draft picks. I think that's one of the few teams that would do that, overpay us in draft picks for Stafford, because I feel like Stafford's stock has fell the last couple of weeks. And so with that being said, I think Kyle Shanahan will be I can do so much with that arm still. You know what I mean? And so I believe the 49ers and Stafford is to be a good pairing. And so the bottom 12 teams was kind of it was hard for me to write about these teams because 4 of the bottom 12 teams is the NFC East. They own. It was hard for me to write about this because it's not fair. Like I'll get to them because I got the Eagles at 22. At 21, I have the Patriots. Patriots almost lost to the Jets last was that Monday night. And I'm just looking like, wow, the Patriots is no longer that dynasty that I've grown up watching. It's actually, it was weird while I was writing
Spurs, bro. It's just like the Spurs, man.
It is.
It just disintegrating. And it's just like, it's so surreal because we've seen them be consistently winning year after year after year, and then just the top pieces just retire, and then like, man,
it's just crazy.
Do so much.
It is. I'm writing this. I'm like, man, what are the Patriots
like Michael
in my
Jordan
head?
Said, I was just watching The Last Dance again the other day. I was watching The Last Dance the other day. The first episode, Michael Jordan was just like, okay, we can put all this talent together, but at the end of the day, the talent is the main thing that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, Bill Belichick is the GM, the coach. He's making the signings and everything, the trades and all that. So it's just so much that you can only do as a general manager and the coach. And at the end of the day, it's all about the talent that you put out on the field.
It is. And I also think I think it was an ego check for him too, because they both wanted to prove, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick both wanted to prove they can blossom without each other. And I'm not one of those people that's gonna paint like they hated each other. I don't think they hated each other. I just think it was that time for them to separate.
It's just that ego. Like we just
It
win.
was. It is. I need to show that I can win it. Because when Tom Brady said he can play till he's 50, right? He really believes he can play till he's 50. With that,
yeah,
so
Brett Favre believed that he could play till he like 50.
He said he can come back today and play if he wanted to. Brett Favre literally believes he can come back today and play. Exactly. So
it's just that competitiveness in them, in the players.
And I love it. It was so weird to see him on the sideline Sunday night, and he was just like mad, but he couldn't do nothing about it because he played bad. Like he was just so mad. Like when he was trying to break his helmet, like he just like it was crazy to see Tom Brady.
I had New Orleans winning the whole way before the week, but way before Thursday night football. I'm in this little fantasy league where we just bet like $10 every week. So it's about 7-8 of us in that bitch. So it's just we just bet. So it's just I had New Orleans winning the whole time, and I was up, but it was just my man's picked New York Giants to win, and I think I picked another team to win that he didn't pick. So we was tied, but I didn't pick no tiebreaker. My shit was 0. His shit was 17, Monday Night Football. So no matter if New York Jets won or not, I would have still lost. So it's just man, it's just crazy. That's the one thing I love about NFL football. It's just any given Sunday. And it's
any given Sunday because these players are professionals at the end of the day.
As soon as it comes to the playoffs, shoot, we seen the Seattle Seahawks a couple years ago, 7-9, go on a little run. They was NFC West. They won got that home game, went on a little run. They did the NFC Championship and they lost, but when they come to that,
it's crazy,
man.
But I think that's professional sports in general, because most of these people are like in high school, you were like, man, this is the next best person. This is the next, and they get to college and they don't pan out like they were, but they got that talent. It's just they just boom, 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 and then sometimes you get these players that just have.
I know all the best. My height, you graduated 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know about the basketball wise. I know the graduating class: John Wall, Austin Rivers, DeAndre Drummond, blah blah blah. I know that draft class, NBA wise, so pretty much college. I was okay, these dudes about to go crazy when they get the league. So it's just some of the people. I know you. I think I know you. We went to school at Devin Garden, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I played football with Devin Garden my whole life.
You see what he doing. You see what he's doing in Michigan. You're okay. Oh, I went to school with him. I probably played with. I know some people that played with him. He going crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just I know. Shoot, I know. I know how it is. I went to school with some people that go. That's in the. I know. So I went to school with some WNBA players that's in middle school. That's just going crazy now, or just doing their thing. Just overseas.
Yeah, it's
how it is.
That these are professional athletes at any given day. They can show you why they made it to, because it's huge to make it to that level. Regardless if you get any clock or not, it's huge. It's extremely hard to get to that level. And so they'll show you why they got to that level. And that's what the Jets almost did to the Patriots. Okay. At 22, I have the Eagles. Okay, so the NFC East is terrible. There is no other word to use but terrible. But the Eagles are looking like they will only have to win 7 games, and they get a home playoff game. 6 is probably right too. Oh yeah.
Remember the Eagles tied.
But it's so bad. It's so bad. 6 to 7 games, you're getting a home playoff game because you're a division winner. Carson Wentz isn't looking good, but if he can somehow play 3 good games come January.
Right, he did because look, he did that. He low-key, he almost won the MVP. If he didn't get injured against the Rams in 2016 or 15, whatever.
Yeah, I think that was 16, I believe.
Okay, he would have won an MVP.
So he's talented. That's what I'm saying. If he can put in January, he put together a string of 3 good MVP caliber games. That's Super Bowl.
But I'm gonna go back to what Derek said. I remember when Carson Wentz first played the Lions, I was just like, oh, the Lions about to shut that down. That Carson Wentz hype train. They did. Darius Slay got that game-winning interception on him. Yes, sir.
We I don't know. I get to the Lions in a little bit.
He got rid of every notable player, every good player. Talk about it. Then he got the nerve to talk about some. Oh, I came in with bro. Jim Caldwell been a winning coach. He only had one losing season with Detroit. Only reason why we got rid of that Jim Caldwell because 9-7 was not enough. But Matt Patricia never even got us a 9-7.
He never got us a 7. He's never got. We'll get there. We'll talk about the Lions in about 4 teams.
I don't know my boundaries. Yeah, I don't know my boundaries on this, the language barrier, but professional coach, fat boy, Officer Barbrady. I'm just gonna put it like that. Officer Barbrady. That's what we gonna nickname him.
Okay, we're gonna get to the Lions in a minute, and we can have our rant. At 23, I have the Panthers. The Panthers, I feel like they played
top 5.
Teddy Two Gloves. Teddy Two Gloves.
He either 6th or 5th in passing yards. And I wasn't even high on Teddy last year, and then I know, I just know he was a backup, and I wasn't even high on Teddy, but Teddy proved me definitely wrong. He can do some things for sure.
Yeah, I feel like if you can go out there and you can play with the Chiefs, right? And they almost won that game.
In and out this whole season too, though. He out next week, but he was in last week, if I'm not mistaken. So he been in and out. So Teddy Bridgewater just doing what he can. He got DJ Moore, but what else? Greg Olsen is getting on.
And Robbie, like you said, Robbie Anderson, and Greg Olsen's out in Seattle now.
I remember when Sam Darnold first game against the Lions. Robbie Anderson.
Okay, let's roll into 24, which is the Denver Broncos.
They quarterback in my opinion.
I don't know. I think it's injuries. They lead the league in injuries, with 17 players having to be placed on injured reserve this season. 17. That means they're not coming back for the season. 17. I think that's a big thing. You have to take. I'm not saying they will be Super Bowl contenders. I'm not, but I think that's prohibiting the growth of Drew Lock. I feel like Von Miller. They're missing a top 5 defensive player in the NFL. You know what I mean? I think I want to take that into account. I feel like the Broncos, if Locke takes that next step and they can stay healthy, I feel like they're building that team to beat KC. You know what I mean? They're not building that team because if you beat KC, you can get far. So they're building that team to beat KC. They don't care about the rest of the league.
They make the next step though.
At times, I do.
You said at times, but do you?
At times, it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent. At times, I'll see him make these big throws, and you wow, oh, he got it. You know what I mean? And then the next throw, you be like, what was that? And so I feel like maybe it could be an offensive coordinator change before I get rid of him. That's what I would do. Switch OC or quarterbacks coach, and get somebody that can work with him. Because like if he's making these throws occasionally, like, and not even occasionally, like I see them like 2 or 3 times a game where I'm like, damn. I think it's you got to try the coaching thing one more time. Change the quarterback coach's room, change the OC, something like that, that gives him so you can on his talents he do have. You can see he's on that bootleg he threw to KJ Hamler 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get those because he threw a dart. He threw a dart. You know what I mean? Like, so let's get an OC. Let's start utilizing those plays. If you got an OC now that's not utilizing those type of plays, utilizing his talent, you got to change as a head coach because if you can.
I was about to say, speaking of KJ Hamlin, bro, Michigan produced a lot of good.
Oh, we do. We do.
Bro. KJ,
we do.
Allen Robinson, like we got a lot of good receivers, bro. We got a lot of talent in Michigan, man.
We do. Even on the Desmond King on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? Like Michigan has.
He on Tennessee now?
Yeah,
because look, I thought he was still on the Chargers, but then I was listening to on the radio. I'm like, hold on, I thought he's still on the Chargers, but he on the Titans. I'm like, man, but like Michigan, like just like the whole city, like just the whole state of Michigan. I'm not even talking about Detroit. It was just
like, We produce. We've been producing these professional athletes. Yeah,
exactly, bro.
At 25, I have the Bengals. My blurb is just Joe Burrow. That's all I'm gonna leave it at.
Do you like him or not?
I think Joe Burrow has the it factor. I think he.
So who's the rookie of the year right now to you?
Jay Jettis. I think Justin Jefferson.
What?
It's the offensive. Yes, I think Justin Jefferson is the offensive rookie of the year.
Okay, who behind him?
It would probably be Herbert.
And then who's the third? It would probably be Tua because quarterbacks are important. Bro.
That's how it goes.
Herbert, Burrow, Jay Jettis.
I got Jay Jettis number one. For a while he was leading the league in receiving. Herbert, he was leading the league for 4 weeks.
17-5, number 2 or top 5, number 2 or number 3 passing yards.
Hey, listen, I know a quarterback is going to get it. I know
Burrow 11-5, top 10 in passing yards. At least I think he's top 5.
And the Bengals suck. Listen, the quarterback position is too important not to give it to a quarterback because I know it's going to a quarterback.
Crazy for sure. I thought at first, and for real, I thought the number 1 receiver out this draft class was
Jerry.
I'm not even gonna say that. I'm just basing it on just like your situation that you in, like the team situation. I thought it was gonna be Henry Ruggs because of, and then I thought it was gonna be Judy, but then I was just thinking about the quarterback situation in Denver. So, but I thought Judy would just overcome that. And then I was thinking about CD, but I didn't think Dak was going to get.
I didn't think Dak, because Dak is super reliable.
Then, I was always high on Jay Jettis. That was my favorite. That was probably my favorite player besides Joe Burrow. That was my second favorite player coming out this draft with Justin Jefferson. So I love Justin Jefferson. So I'm actually surprised that like the leap that he I thought he was gonna produce like how he is gonna be like in the second I thought he was gonna do something but not that much, but he's going crazy for sure. I just thought it was gonna be like second season. So but now that like just like how he is this season, I just got higher expectations for a second season.
Oh yeah.
I ain't had that much high expectation. I just thought
and he's playing with Kirk Cousins.
But, like, it's gonna be crazy, but like man, It's rookie season already crazy, so I just got higher expectations.
Kirk Cousins, I think Kirk Cousins is just.
I don't like him.
I'm not gonna talk bad about a Michigan native. I'm not gonna talk bad about a Michigan native, but just I don't think he's it.
Lions, bro. He go crazy. That's the only
every time.
Like him and Mitch Trubisky, they got the Lions number. Yeah. They go so crazy. Him, like no matter what.
Every time he come home, he got to show out.
And Mitchell Trubisky and Kirk Cousins, them like they can go. They can have a super bad game. They can have like probably like 3 interceptions plus. And then as soon as they go against the Lions the next week, they go crazy and again they're dub no matter what. And then they just all the little trade talk, whatever.
Go right back to normal.
Exactly, bro.
Let me roll into it. 26, I got the Texans. That organization is just done for. All they got is Deshaun Watson and Fuller. And, J.J. Watt is the city, right? We know J.J. Watt is Houston.
Whoever you talking against, whoever get out there, he got out there. You always see that with Bill O'Brien. So So this is whoever they hire, this team is theirs to build. Like at least they have a franchise quarterback. They tried to trade Fuller. And then Will probably gone. J.J. Watt probably gone. Only person I know for sure that's like pretty much long term, probably like 2 or 3 more years is Deshaun.
That's it. That's Deshaun.
Like within 2 or 3, 4 years, JJ gone, Will Fuller gone. So, but yeah,
the Washington football team. I like them because I feel like their defense.
I want to see what they're gonna do with.
I think it's weird to me to see how far he's in a doghouse. You know what I mean? Like
just because, bro, it's just like the NFC least, bro. It's just like Ron Rivera. Kyle Allen was his backup QB when he was in Carolina. So it's just like, I see we got an opportunity to win this. Like, we got an opportunity to win this division. You see, the Giants playing hard.
Listen, this is crazy. I was gonna talk about it at 29 at the Giants.
And then when it's football, it's any given Sunday, bro. It's not like basketball. The best 4 out of series. It's like it's a parity in basketball, low key. But football, you can win the Super Bowl one year, then the next year you number 1 pick or something. Like you just So like it's different. It just hit different.
It is like. And when you go, it hits harder in the NFL when you go win now. Look at the Jags. Jags is the perfect example of going win now and then striking out.
Yep. And when the Patriots, the last time Tom Brady, that was the year they lost. It was just they just
AFC Championship game. Yep, AFC Championship game against the Patriots. They win now. They bought that defense. They drafted the defense really well too, but they bought it to fill it in. Off of one play, Gilmore knocking down the pass. You know what I mean? Like, it came down to one play. And so what Jalen Ramsey would say, we're going to the Super Bowl and we gonna win that bitch. So you know what I mean? That's how hard it is to win in the NFL. And then the results of like if you don't draft your team to win. Like if you buy your team to win, you have a window this big. Like you know what I mean? Like you have 2 years to win when you buy your team. The Giants did it that 1 year. I think that was Odell's rookie year or his sophomore year. They did it. They bought that team. They went to the playoffs, didn't get it. Now the Giants are in disarray. The Jags, they bought that team, didn't do it. Now they're in disarray. It's only a few teams, you know what I mean, that is when you buy your team, you say, I'm okay with the repercussions 3 years later because I'm going for a Super Bowl these next 3 years. You know what I mean? Because when contracts start hitting, you got to trade, you got to cut, you got to take dead money, all that stuff. And so I just feel like it's tough to win in the NFL. You made a good point. At 28, it's time to do our rant. I have the Detroit Lions at 28. I'm gonna call them the 10-man team because I can't believe 2 weeks in a row we've had 10 men on the field and we can have 11. We had 10 men on the field. At least one of those times we blocked the punt. But we've had twice on defense, 10 men on the field. And Dalvin Cook, I'm not about to do this. I'm not about to let my mental health go down the drain talking about the Lions. I'm not going to do it. They will destroy my mental health every week. Every Sunday, they destroy my mental health, and it's not good for me. It's not. It's not. It's not. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this with the Lions. They're so bad. They're so bad. Only thing I ask for the Lions is when you hire a next head coach, get somebody that's willing to take chances and that's not afraid to coach talent. Because when you're bad, get all the talent you can get. You don't have that like the Patriots can do that. You know what I mean? Like the Patriots can be like, oh, I'm not using him. He's not a cultural fit. Because they were winners. They were 20 years worth of winning. You can do that. You can do that. You can say he's not a fit to my culture.
This way can just go anywhere. No.
But when you suck,
with the Patriots.
When you suck, you need to figure out how.
Patriots way. With the Patriots. Not with no fucking Lions. Not with no Titans.
No.
Whatever the fucking Bill Belichick assistant coaches and defensive coordinator were. It only worse than the Patriot system, man. So you got to.
And the Titans the Titans learned. Mike Variable learned real quick. He was like, oh, I don't care about that. Listen, I'm gonna take some players I maybe I don't agree with, and I'm gonna help them win. You know, I'm gonna win with them. He learned. Matt Patricia didn't. That is the difference between the Titans and the Lions.
Malcolm Butler interception. He just flipping off that shit. Like, bro, you just got lucky with that shit, bro. You got lit up by Nick Foles, bro.
Yeah, look at Mike Variable. Look at Mike, Coach Variable, and then Matt Patricia. Right, the difference between at least he's like, okay, I got Derrick Henry. I know I got a good player. I'm gonna try to use that to my ability. These are the two coaches that got hired the same year, coming from the same tree. Mm-hmm. And Coach Variable is a 10 times better coach than Coach Patricia. He's a 10 times better coach than him now. Like, I believe talent wise, we're the same. We're on the same par. Like, I really believe we have the same amount of talent. Like, you know what I mean? It's just it's talent. I think we have a better quarterback. Obviously, have the better running back. I think we have the better receiving core. I feel, you know what I mean? Like, we can look at the defensive side of the ball. They probably have the better defense. But still, like, our teams aren't that far apart talent-wise, yet you couldn't tell by the record. You could over.
It's a reason why Calvin Johnson stayed with Detroit because, like I said, he said he felt like they had a chance to win the Super Bowl or just go far in the playoffs. Like that one year when they had the good defensive line, Sue, Vander, he felt like that. So, like, bro, I don't know if it comes down to the coaching or the quarterback play. I know one time we was in the Super. I remember the first time we got to the playoffs finally. I think it was 2011. We got blew out by the Saints, and then it was the Cowboys, and then we got cheated out. And then Calvin Johnson retired. And then next year we played Seattle again and we got blew out. Yeah. Like Caldwell, he got us together. Like he did.
I understand.
Season, but it was just like the thing was Caldwell had us good. But it was just like complacent. It was just like,
he couldn't get us to great.
Like he had us there, but it just like we just needed that one more push to just push us over the edge.
We were not in the rebuild. So we were literally. I believe Quinn was right what he said, but he hired the wrong coach.
Exactly.
I
was always going for Terrell Austin. Me personally.
I
because
don't think it was
like
T. I don't
that's
think it was T.
like
Austin.
that was the most success we had when we had Terrell Austin. Terrell Austin the year when, I think it was 11-5, I think. But it's just like we had our
I
defensive
think
line was crazy. Crazy.
we needed that was Matthew Stafford MVP years, I believe. So I believe we needed a offensive minded coach that was innovative. Jim Caldwell was an offensive minded coach. He got Stafford to play really good ball, but he wasn't innovative, right? And I think that was the time we should have went young. We should have went hard for Sean McVay. We should, you know what I mean? We should. I know he wanted to go to LA, but I think we needed a coach like that, a Sean McVay mode where I believe Sean McVay with Stafford would have went. I think he would have took us to that next level. You know what I mean? And so I believe that's what we needed. Like I said, I thought Jim Caldwell. I miss him actually. I miss Jim Caldwell quite a bit. Like I will take playoff appearances at this point. That's how bad it's gotten in Detroit. But like I said, I don't think Quinn was the problem, but Quinn, you got to go down. You picked this coach. He destroyed the culture. He destroyed the locker room. He destroyed the team. He destroyed everything we were building towards. So you chose him. You literally, we're going to speak on the Rooney Rule. You disobeyed the Rooney Rule because you just said, I'm going Matt Patricia off rip. And you did Terrell. You did an interview with T.E. Austin just to get around it, but you never in your head you knew who you were going with since you got in that seat. And so you got to go with him. I don't think Quinn was the worst GM we had because Quinn spent money, which is not Lions. Like he actually spent money. Do I agree he should have spent money on the players he did? No, but he did it. That was unusual to me. We only pay our players. We never pay other players to come to Detroit. We make trade for them and then they walk. But we never pay players to come to Detroit. That's in all our sports to me. But that was big for Quinn. I thought Quinn, if he hired the right coach, Quinn would have been a good GM. That's me. He just hired the wrong coach and then he rolled. He stayed with it. You know what I mean? Like he should have abandoned ship like last year. He should have been like, I'm gonna keep my job. Let me go try something crazy.
9-7 is not enough. 9-7 is not enough. So next coach that you gotta hire better be 9-7 instead of 6.
I thought it was so many. He could have did a splash hire and just went down with it. You know what I mean? Like he could have Lincoln Riley. You know what I mean? Matt Patricia.
Way beyond the expectation. Because he said not like he win almost. 9-7 is not enough. Patricia just went way beyond expectations. Couldn't even get us 5 wins. Like shoot. Like,
the best he's ever did is got us 6 wins. That's the best. That's the best he's did. He's went 6-10, and then we had a 3. You know what I mean? 3-3. Well, 3-12-1. Like, come on, like, okay. Let me stop talking about these fools because my blood pressure getting hot. Let's talk about these Lions. Like, at 29, I got the Giants. I feel like the Giants are like the division bad. So you're 1 win away from winning the division every game. So the Giants win this week. They're tied to be up top. So is Washington. At 30, I got the Cowboys, who are just along with the Giants. They're 1 win away from leading that division. And maybe when Andy Dalton comes back, he's better than those other 2 quarterbacks. I don't even know where they got them from. And he can actually maybe put together a string of games that's winnable. At 31, we were just talking about the Jags. I feel like the Jags have to tank better than the Jets and hope the Jets win a game, because I was looking at the schedules. It's possible for the Jets to win 2 games, and it's possible for the Jags to not win another game. They can go 1-15, and I think the Jets can actually win 2 games before the end of the season. I don't think they will. I think they're tanking for Trevor, but I feel like the Jags at 31 is fair, and then 32 is the Jets. Like I just said, they're tanking for Trevor, and that's that. Like those are my power rankings. It's not really much to, you know what I mean? Like I said, once I got to the Patriots, I was just like the fall off in talent was so bad. Like these teams 21 through 32 are bad teams. They're bad. Like, and one of these NFC least teams are going to come out. And what's bad about it is they only got to play 3 to 4 good games.
So who are your Super Bowl contenders, like for real? Like,
oh, I have KC coming out the AFC, and then I really think it'll be the Saints, but the Saints they're choke artists in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, bro. I'm just thinking, like, bro.
They're choke artists.
Legit, like my legit. I think I could say top 5. Like my legit KC, Pittsburgh,
mm-hmm.
KC, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I can't even say Baltimore, man.
Mm-hmm.
KC, Pittsburgh, Bucks.
I feel like the Bucks have bounced back.
Battle. And probably like Green Bay or something, like because
I did not want to say it, but I think that's gonna be the NFC Championship.
I love Lamar, but like, bro, 2-time postseason. He just got his first comeback win ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, I want Lamar to go crazy, but like, man,
I do.
Show him he got to turn into one.
You got to. I think Arizona might be that team that upsets people in the playoffs, though. I really do believe because Kyler Murray's getting better every game he plays. Like every game, you like, how's he doing this? Like, so I think if they can sneak into the playoffs, because it's a chance they can win the NFC West. I don't think they are. I think the Seahawks will squeeze it out at the end of the season. But if they come out the NFC West and they have that home game.
Man, it just really depends. That NFC West is tough because like Seattle defense is not really that good.
No, they're horrible. They're actually horrible. They're like they went and got Jamal Adams and that didn't help them at all. Like so
in the secondary you got
they that's what I'm saying. The Cardinals is a good football team right now.
Baker, what do I gotta say?
Hey, I'm still tripping off of that DK tackle. I watch that like once a day. I can't even lie. Like I was like, how is he this big? How is he this fast?
Hey, y'all gotta chill on that Calvin Johnson.
I didn't say. I think he's himself. I think DK's I think DK's himself.
He about to be eligible next year, 2021. He about to be first ballot. So it's only 1-1 Calvin. So need y'all to calm down on that with the comparisons. Calvin is wonderful.
Thank you. It's only one Megatron.
Exactly.
There's only one Megatron.
And he used to be called Butterfingers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yes. He used to be called Butterfingers before he became Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
Just the dedication, the hard work you put in.
Listen, I'm still. You seen that picture of his?
Do him right, man. Do Calvin Johnson right, man.
Calvin and Barry. We not gonna win until we do right by Calvin and Barry. I'm convinced. Like
we talk about the Bobby Lane curse. Shit, it's
three. We got 3 players. It's really 3. Yeah.
The Calvin Johnson curse, man.
Yeah, we got the Calvin, the Bobby, and the Barry. Like we got 3 Hall of Fame players.
Come on, Ford.
We got 3 like guaranteed gold jacket wearers, and we did them better.
Told me my friend gave me a ticket to the Kansas City bandwagon. So Thanksgiving, we're gonna see what happens.
You didn't gave you said I'm just gonna cheer for the Detroit on the sideline. I'm not emotionally invested no more.
My homeboy.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick, my homeboy. I love it. Mm-hmm. Before we go, I just want to talk about this Rooney Rule, and this update that's happened recently, and what it means to me, right? Because I hate how the NFL blatantly allows the owners to disrespect a rule that is supposed to help minorities. And the Rooney Rule exists because you're supposed to basically be able to at least interview a minority coach. And when 75% of the league, right, is black, and when 75% of the league is black, and you're telling me all this time you can't develop any of these players into becoming coaches, it should be more than 3 black head coaches in the NFL. And what you're telling me is that you trust them to go out there and throw the football, and you catch the football and tackle, but you don't trust them to lead other black men. And that's where it hurts at. And that's why I feel like this Rooney Rule has to be better. And I agree, right? I don't believe owners should be getting picks for doing the right thing. But if that's what it takes, I guess that's what we got to do, right? I don't like it, but if that's what it takes, that's what we got to do. So the new rule basically says if you groom GMs, future GMs, and future head coaches, you will get a 3rd round comp pick. That is the new rule, right? If you group, so somebody, let's say Coach Eric B out there in KC, if he gets picked up this year, Andy Reid and company will get a 3rd round pick, right? That's what they're saying. Basically, the owners are creating rules. They're trying to help themselves. Like,
it just leave a bad taste in your mouth because
it does.
It's just like, I'm glad y'all trying to get more minority coaches in, but it's just like y'all. It's just like at the end of y'all get rewarded, y'all just it's not genuine. It don't come across genuine.
It doesn't. It doesn't come across genuine at all. It goes back to the Mike Tomlin thing. You know what I mean? Like Mike Tomlin is one of the best. It is the Steelers, yeah.
Arthur Rooney. They are only one of the only teams like in the NFL that gave minority coaches chances.
Yeah, I know. And it was crazy. I was reading the stat. The Pittsburgh in like the last 40 years, they only had 3 head coaches. In 40 years, they had 3 head coaches. That's wild. The Steelers, that's how faithful they are to their coaches. And it proves the point, but it also goes to you hire. I really feel like GMs and owners they feel more comfortable hiring what they look like, right? There are no outside the Buffalo Bills who is Korean American, and then the Jaguars owner who I think he's Pakistani American. There are no minority head coaches. A lot of
people hire Trevor Lawrence right now. Probably even down, despite the debt situation. Like a better.
It goes to. Yeah, you think about this. So you think about this, right? In 1970, I was reading this quote. I got this quote from Max Kellerman, who quoted Muhammad Ali, right? Basically, in 1970, Muhammad Ali told Sugar Ray Robinson to hire a certain agent because he has the color to get you connections. And that was in 1970. And I think that's still important today. Um, Going back to our Lions, Quinn came into a job. He was with Jim Caldwell for 1 year. He went 9-7 that year. Um, and he chose, instead of investing in Jim Caldwell or investing in a new head coach, well, going with a new head coach, uh, I, he never gave Jim Caldwell that chance to prove that he was worthy, because Jim Caldwell was never able to spend money. All those players were drafted or traded for, and they were on the contract we traded them for.
And I
Um,
love Jim Caldwell too. And he
and
built
then Jim Caldwell built good men. That's what everybody in the NFL says. He just didn't build good football players. He built good men. Like all our players, we always had a Walter Payton finalist on our team. Maybe not a winner, but we had the finalists on our team. Glover Quinn every year was a finalist.
happy. Bob Quinn traded all of them.
And Bob Quinn traded all of them. I just, that didn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? Like, and you hired somebody with a note. You hired them off of one play.
Exactly.
Because you look at those stats when he was defensive coordinator, they weren't really good stats. And you know, Bill Belichick is the defensive mind over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you hired him because you felt comfortable with him. That's the only reason why you hired Matt Patricia, and that goes back to it. These people in power in the NFL, they hire what they feel comfortable with and not who's the best qualified. And that's why it hurts. Every time I read this Rooney Rule, it hurts because it's, like you said, it's not genuine. Brian Flores, like I said, Brian Flores is, in my opinion, he's coach of the year candidate right now. Sure. He's changed a bottom 5 franchise for the last 5 years at least. A bottom 5. Yeah, and now they looking like they might come out of the AFC East and be a wild card. You know what I mean? Like, and it's looking like they can. This is not just going to be a one-hit wonder, like a 1-year wonder. Like they'll do this for the next, 10 years possibly, as long as Tua stay. You know what I mean? Like, and so I just, this Rooney Rule, I feel like it has to be enforced and not coming from the owners. The NFL has to enforce this to the point where, like, you have to get like something that's like how they're doing these COVID procedures. You losing draft picks if you don't do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't interview, or you don't have enough of these on your. So if you have 4,
enforced already though.
It's not really being enforced. Like they slapped. What is $100,000 to these billionaires? I'm gonna fine you $100,000.
Draft picks that they at least like interview them.
They need to lose draft picks, and I believe they need to move in a point where quality. So if you have 10 quality control coaches, right? At least 4 of them got to be minorities. That way, you have no force but to develop your staff, or your staff is going to be trash. And if you know what I mean, if a certain percentage of them is minority, then you have to groom them. It's no way you're telling me 75% of the league is African American. And there's only 3 head coaches in the league. You telling me none of these players know the game? You know what I mean? Like Eric B not being hired after 2 years of watching, it's beyond me. It's
not even
either he,
not even like 1 year. Like
Matt Nagy did 1 year. Doug Peterson did a couple, like 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Like they got jobs right after.
Gary had Jason Garrett for so many dang on years, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so I feel like this Rooney Rule, it has to do better. And until they do better, I'm really like losing faith in the NFL. That they want change. You know what I mean? Like they want the change that needs to happen.
Really, because like I mean they apologize for Kaepernick and everything, but like I agree with bro.
Yeah, it's tough, but that's really all I had today, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I know we had our technical difficulties, and so it kind of prohibited us diving in to some of these middle round teams. But definitely for sure, I'm gonna have you back. We're gonna talk about some more stuff. Probably talk about. I was thinking next week we're gonna talk about looking at some of these quarterbacks that's coming out next week out of college. So Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from North Dakota. I forgot his name off the top of my head. Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that, looking at these, grading them, seeing where they play at. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming.
I appreciate y'all having me, man.
All right. That's all we got today on Over the Pylon. Until next week, guys. Peace.
There you go.